before I forget, so after critique, I'll make this announcement. So just so we have it covered. Tomorrow, I'm leaving the gallery at 9 o'clock in the morning again. The gallery, not the other place, the gallery. Then we're going to paint at Nakata Port. And I think it's 275th Street. And what I believe the guy said on the deal there, there's two slips out there. It's the north road. There's two roads that go out there. It's only about a mile from the gallery, the most. All right, so you can meet us there, or you can meet me at the gallery and you can follow over there. Okay. Okay, so this is probably going to be a little more clear of an example of what I talked about, where you look at the outside edge of the shape, find the character of the object. This will be a very good example of that. Well, blow over. Oh yeah. Yeah. This guy. Now I don't know if I want to put in Scott Nail to catch it. I don't know if I want to put in the church or not. I do kind of like the ideas the church is there.
Let's see. Can you see what he's got?
Can you move aside after section two?
Think you know what it's got?
Can I do what?
Move aside after you do a section so we can see what you're talking
On
about.
this right here?
Yeah.
I will try to, but that gets a little bit difficult. Might be better if you move around. Because I can't
Good
remember to.
counterpoint. Team B.
Yeah. I don't know if I can do that each time.
So we all, can you know?
Did you guys go?
Just stand up. You can see it
Over
over
here.
here.
I can see it. I'm okay.
No, I
Well,
don't.
if you stand up, then I can see.
All right, so my value study,
Are you showing the fences?
something to work from.
Is that the entry door and the two windows of the church?
Yes.
I can't, what is it?
There's the door. There's the two windows.
Oh.
Okay, put this down here.
I'm just gonna figure out how it's going for what.
All right, once again, I'm putting my pencil out here to see how this fence goes. And you might think that church is all white, but it's in shadow. It's its own value there. All right. Where the water's at.
I'm sorry. I don't know where.
Okay. Pigment looks pretty fresh. Let's just go ahead and jump right in. Okay, I'll start with this brush. Let's just start right with the tree.
Eric, is that rough or smooth paper?
This is rough paper.
Why do you like rough?
I just like the feel of it on the brush. It kind of grabs the brush a little bit. Smooth paper or cold press is good. Of course, and then you also have hot press, which is really smooth. I like the feel of the grab on the brush, and you can get a little more texture with the bristles. But you know, all these papers can be beautiful in their own way. All right. All right, I'm going to start right off with the tree. And I'm going to splay out the bristles to get the end. So this is where it's really important to look at the outside edge of the tree shape. Not to get too caught up in what's happening on the inside. This is where the character of the object is. What's the character where the tree is? So I got a little bit of ultramarine blue, a little bit of cobalt blue. See how I'm splaying the bristles out? And just kind of follow my way around the tree.
Ultramarine and cobalt with a yellow in there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now I'm picking up some more fresh color. And everything on the inside I keep fairly solid for right now. We'll find the shadows later. See, that's what's important. This outside edge, not so much what's going on the inside here. Now I can drop in the shadow if I want to now, or I can wait till later. That's just raw umber mixed with a little bit of ultramarine blue.
Is your brush really wet now?
It's pretty wet now, yeah. Yeah, a little bit of raw in there. Okay, so now, rather than just take what we might think is the typical color for a tree trunk, I'm going to actually use some blue here. Because I want something different than just that flat brown. So, yeah, that's probably enough. And note what I do here with the shadow. I'm going to take the color that's right up here in the tree and run right down here into the shadow. Because I know that this color is reflecting into this shadow.
But Gary,
Yeah.
is that because that's grass under there? Because if that were, I thought the shadows had to be different values of local color, other than, I know you put the reflections in there, but, is that,
I'm not quite following you on that.
if that were crossing
Oh, it's something red?
yes, or crossing a boardwalk or something,
Yeah.
which is just, would you
I still
put that much green in there?
I really push that color in. That's right there, yeah. Whatever it's reflecting. Okay, so same with this shadow right here. There was a lot of study that I did of the shadows and consideration, read things that all seemed kind of confusing to me back in art school. Shadows can be difficult, and it wasn't until I finally figured out all I have to do is bounce the color that's around here down into the shadow. It usually took care of it most of the time. I didn't have to think much further than that. All right. So maybe we'll let some of this dry just a little bit. It's a nice edge on the outside. Let's see if we can get some of the grass in. I'm gonna try to do that without losing my shadows. It's pretty wet still. I think there's a little bit of phthalo mixed into this, yeah. I'm gonna put this mid-tone in, but I don't want to go very dark. Might be a little too dark. Perhaps I need a bigger brush. This is the church, but see, I first established the whole mid-tone of that back there before I do that. Before I do anything else.
almost no water on your brick.
Almost no water because there's so much right here in the on the paper. And you can see by doing it in the damp paper here that it allows it to kind of have soft edges so it sits back, these windows. Okay, so this is where the light's kind of hitting it right here, so I think that's pretty light in value.
The white siding, is it phthalo?
This right here?
Yeah.
I don't think I had phthalo. I think it was more of a cobalt blue mixed with some yellow.
Oh, thanks.
All right. Let's go find another spot in the painting.
Eric,
Yeah.
would you put any like alizarin on those trees to make them come closer?
On the tree here,
No, on the trunks.
the trunk to make them come closer. I mean, you could, but you don't have to.
Okay.
You can just do it by stronger value shifts
Okay.
and maybe some harder edges, and that'll bring it forward. You can do like that. Well, you can. I'll put a little bit of lizard in here. Okay, can everybody see okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll put in this tree back in here. And now I'm going to put in these little spaces in between and the fence here. Put all of them in. Some of them. Don't make them all evenly spaced. visible in here. And you know, I found that on the heads of people, it's probably one of the only shapes that you can really not exaggerate too much. If you make it larger than it really is, it really looks awkward. It's better to err on the heads of people to make them a little bit smaller.
I think that's why I avoided it.
All right, I'm gonna come back up here now and do these branches again here. Now I'm going to also darken the shadow a little bit more. There's a lot of, if you study shadows, there is quite a bit of anatomy in a shadow, but the main thing is just to get those colors bounced around, better around up in here, down into that shadow. Now, I'm going to redefine. This is, once again, this is what we call painting flat, in that everything is it's just all flat shape here. But I'm going to now show a little bit of my form or value shift within my main area of dominance, which is right here. Right in this area. So, see how the brushes are splayed out now?
Mm-hmm.
And then as we get further and further away from our area of dominance, I show less and less of that. So we're clear out here. But there's hardly any of them show. Make that just a little bit. I'm looking at this right here, and I'm thinking temptation is to make it just a little bit darker than that, just so it doesn't confuse it with the church. Yeah. Actually, if you look at the reality of it is that this is actually darker than the sky in reality, but I chose to do it differently there.
It's interesting, they only just put in a touch of the sky, which is very, very nice.
Just a touch of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's bring the viewer down here a little bit. Nothing wrong with putting a little bit of green in the trunk here, so it's not so that blue is just not isolated by itself. And the idea of putting some red in there, that would be fine too. Just a variety of colors, that's the main thing. Now I'm going to take out the sword striper and we're going to accentuate the area of dominance just a little bit with some of these lines. Okay, so notice how this mass of the tree, I kept it very flat. I'm only showing some modeling for the most part here near near our area of dominance. Modeling or value shifts or detail, however you want to say that. But the patterns are kept pretty flat elsewhere. Let's put a mat on that. Oops, I had this pointing the wrong way the whole time. Could you still hear me all right?
Yeah.
You heard nothing? Repeat the whole thing.
You ever try and paint with your opposite hand?
I don't think I have, but I have suggested it to people that are too literal,
Mm-hmm.
and they just want to get everything in, and I try to get them to loosen up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I will suggest that they do that. Some of you might know of Noel Thomas's work from Astoria. Well, when he first, this goes back into the 80s. He first took a few classes from me. He came from a background of doing miniature houses, and detail was very, very important in that profession. And so his paintings were that way, and I suggested to him that let's try your opposite hand, see what happens. And it really did help out. He eventually came back to his strong hand, which was actually his left hand's a strong hand. But at first it kind of helped him to realize he didn't have to put so much in there. But personally, I haven't. I don't think I've done that. Okay, I gotta stand way back. So God.
I know, it reminds me of New Orleans.
Yes, it does. In terms of design, is there a reason you chose that light blue for the church?
I chose that. Well, maybe because the blue's here, but it does tend to go towards the blue side, that shadow in the church. So I chose that color, I guess, for that reason. But I could have chosen something else. But it does lean towards the blue side, so I guess I used what I actually saw in the model there.
It makes it go back too.
Yeah. So, yeah, and the blue goes back and yellow comes forward. Okay, so this is my area of dominance. Let's pick out what we're using here. Do that. Well, one is detail. You can see some of the trees coming down here. Okay, there's some detail there. We're using placement. Things that are near the center are stronger. I have stronger value contrast here. You can see that in a couple spots. I have harder edges. Here's my harder edges, my crisp edges here. I've got animation, the figures. Possibly implied line coming across here. What's that? Yeah, thank you. The intensity, the intense color of the blue. Blue's intense, that draws us in here, but there's also the warm colors tend to draw our eyes. Like that color there. So animation and warm colors are really playing a big part in this one.
That line above the picket fence, that's amazing. I didn't even see you put that in. It's beautiful.
That's represents the little shrub that's behind it
Oh,
that pushes out the fence then. But yeah, it went in very fast. It was just one stroke.
yeah. Very cool.
Now, if I think that door is possibly a little bit too strong, then what I will do is I'll take some of the opposite color, which is right next door, which is the cobalt blue. These colors right in here. You can just throw a little bit on top of it, kind of subdue it down just a little bit, so it's not quite so strong. Gray it down would probably be a better term. And just let a little portion of it, that red, stick out. All right. All right, so have fun painting this afternoon. 3:30, we'll do a critique right in this area, somewhere in the shade here. And we'll call it a day.
Mr. Wiegardt, we have